Do you ever find yourself wondering, is it worth even pointing out the truth about Israel and Hamas? Do people even care? Do they even want to know the facts? Do the people that are so hateful want to actually look at things objectively? Douglas Murray is asked a question about whether he feels it's actually worth his time, whether he makes any progress by sharing the truth about Israel in their war against the modern-day Nazis of Hamas. Have a listen to what he says, because I think his words should give us some insight and encouragement.
So sometimes do you ask yourself if it's worth the time? You know, you go on the news channels around the world and you try to present the truth, but you see the other side, they don't want to understand, they're ignorant. Do you feel that you can make an influence, or it's basically the audience?
I mean, I think I would do what I do even if I didn't think I was making a difference. But as it happens, I think I am. My belief has always been that one truth can puncture 1,000 lies. Obviously, in the age of social media, that theory is being put to the test in real time. But I do believe it. And I believe that even, when I speak to very hostile media, if you can show up what they don't know, for instance, if you can just show up how ignorant most of these journalists are. Most of my interviewers are wildly ignorant about the situation. I had one the other week in South Africa who seemed to think that she was an expert on this region, and turned out she'd lived in Doha for a while whilst working for Al Jazeera. But even on a clear day, you can't see Gaza from Doha. But, you discover these people, they have an agenda. That's the real truth. A lot of the media has an agenda. Now, I mean, in a way, that's their right. I'd like Israel to win this conflict. Some of them would like Hamas to win. Okay. Some of them, however, would just like Israel to lose, but want to hide the fact a little. They talk about issues in this conflict. I mean, look at the world's intense focus on Rafah in recent weeks. Every day, front pages of all the newspapers, Rafah, Rafah, Rafah. None of these newspapers covered the far, far greater death toll that's been going on for the last decade in Yemen, in Syria, in many other countries and conflicts around the world. Why are they so obsessed with this one? It's a question underneath a question.
Right, it's their opportunity to hold on to something that gives a feeling of humanitarian issue, of crisis.
Well, I think one thing is, of course, they also they betray the fact that they've got the firefighter and the fire starter the wrong way round in this conflict. It's continually the case. I made the Ukraine comparison earlier, but sometimes when I make that comparison in front of audience and others, I can sense the pushback, which is, but it's the Russians that are the aggressor there. Okay, well, first of all, who do you think the aggressor was on the 7th? But then people go, well, you have to go back. History didn't start on the 7th of October, they quite often say. So, yeah, I'm aware of that.
Even the Director General of the United Nations
absolutely
made his comment.
And, only a couple of days after the 7th of October, Secretary Blinken was talking about the importance of the two-state solution as a result for this. So a lot of people have come to this with a lot of existing baggage, shall we say. I mean, nobody, just to return quickly to that Ukraine comparison, nobody has any interest when Vladimir Putin says, now look, we've got to start in the year 800. But here, everyone's keen to do that. No, we've got to start before, no, we've got to start earlier. Okay, let's start in 2000 BC.
So I asked you if you feel that there's any influences. Do you have cases where even the interviewers said to you, you know what, you have a point?
Yes, I have. It happened very early on in this conflict, actually. I was doing an interview with Piers Morgan in London from the Gaza border, and we were discussing, among other things, the protests that have been going on in London against Israel, which is what they have been, that were going on every week, and they'd already started. And Piers is a fine journalist, and he, is the sort of person who is open-minded, And he said, well, you can't just dismiss all the people at these marches as anti-Israel. I said, no, I do. I think that's what they are. And he said, well, you just sort of pushed on it. And I said, look, if you went for a march one week and even some people on it were calling for the murder of all black people, would you go on week 2? And if they were doing it still on week 2, might you drop out by week 3? And he said, yeah, no, I would. Yeah, same thing.
I think Douglas makes a really important point there, that not everyone can be changed, but many people's minds can be changed when you puncture the lies with one truth. But I think he also there pointed out something which I think often happens, which is that people like Pierce are thinking, come on, there's so many big marches. Surely they must have some point to them. You know, surely Hamas must have some genuine grievance, legitimate grievance. There's got to, it takes 2 to tango. What's difficult for people to get, and I understand that they struggle to get, is just how evil Hamas really are. That it isn't actually about a legitimate grievance. They genuinely are evil. It's like people they dismiss the Nazis and Hitler as being, oh, he just wants, he's a bit upset about what happened in World War I, and they just want a bit more land. No, he wants global domination. Hamas, the same. And we just find it so jaw-dropping to believe, because it shakes our understanding about the nature of this world by seeing how much evil there really can be. But there is. History in the past has shown us that, and we shouldn't bury our heads in the sands. And Douglas understands this. He's not naive about the possibilities and the depths to which human beings can sink in their hatred, in their jealousy, in their anger, in their selfishness, and in their rivalries. And so sometimes it just takes a little bit of truth-telling, as Douglas does, and has done so magnificently over the past few months and years, to dispel the lies and help people to wake up. I'm Ollie Annisfeld, and you're watching JTV. Hi everybody, thanks for watching. If you want to watch another one, click here. If you want to subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest JTV content, click here. And if you're feeling really keen, you can click the join button down below underneath this video, where you can get perks including early access to new videos and private live discussions with me, where we can talk about JTV content and strategy moving forward, and I'll get to hear from you. Thanks again for watching.